right, welcome everybody. Hello and welcome to the stream. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone around the world. Obviously different times for different people. Lots of things to discuss today, but boy, oh boy, were we correct about the bears coming back a little bit this week. Let's see if they keep going. What do you guys think? What do you think about this? Hey, look at that Nasdaq coming down here a little bit. 0.72% down the Nas. US 500 down 0.39%, so not that much yet. But obviously the first red day we have seen in some time. So I wonder what you guys are thinking. What's your predictions? Let us know. Also seems like we've got a big super chat coming in here immediately from Kevin Finan, Australian $15. So thank you very much, Kevin. Appreciate that, sir. Big C, BigCommerce is the number 2 to shop. So that's obviously Shopify. After earnings has popped 38% this week. As an Aussie startup, I threw some dollars at it shortly after the IPO in August 2020. It's been a year TA. All right, we'll check that out in a second. Big C. See what everybody thinks. 4% is what people are saying. Correction. IWM, the Russell. Yes, the Russell down 0.7, of course. Well, the Russell should come down. The Russell is not immune from the down spike, even though it's broken out here. So don't worry about that. I'm ready for more down. Bear correction, 5% raw, well, more like a little raw. Yeah, exactly. Not very big there. We've got to put it in perspective. And 5% down is not that much. So let's just quickly talk about these markets and where they're closing today. So let's go into the SPX to start off with. Talk about its current level. Let's talk about where we need it to close for the bears to kind of show some commitment. And realistically, they're showing pretty weak commitment at this point. So we talked yesterday about closing underneath the long leg doji is something you want to do. We have a doji on the daily, which is effectively here. And it's got that middle point. So we've got the high, we've got the low, we've got the open and close, obviously very similar to each other. Then we have that slight bit of weakness. And then today we're kind of closing right on it. What you'd prefer to see is probably for it to just take out everything, 46.60 plus closure down, and then we can really move through all these moving averages on their smaller time frames and the larger time frames into that daily 20. So I don't think it's like super negative into the close like it should be. But my guess is that once you have one day like this, like especially if you close underneath the long leg doji, here's the doji here, it really should be decision made. Let's begin some weakness. So if I was to guess at the next session, I would probably say weakness continues and that we see at least some weakness here in the markets down to the 20 moving average, which is sitting around that 4,600 flat. So we really kind of think from here to here seems quite likely this week. Now, the close is kind of pointing towards that. Where it is right now is still underneath. You've got to always go with it. You know, here is long leg doji, decision made, bullish. Yes, it went bearish a little bit, but then overall bullish. Long leg doji at resistance. Long leg doji's at resistance, decision made. Remember, there was a marginal one that happened over here. And this is what ended up happening. Now, it went up and down all around, but eventually it kept going down. And even here, when the long leg doji happened and then it went decision made to the short side, it continued to find that weakness. So I think this is probably where we're at right now. We're at a key pivotal point. Let's have a look at the Nasdaq. Let's load up the NDX or the QQQ. So let's go down into the 1 hour here on this time frame. This one's a little bit more clean cut. No doubt we have that peak. We've got that trough on the smaller time frames. We've got the lower peak now. And of course, we've seen the lower trough. So really quite a lot more weakness, I guess you would say, on the Nasdaq than the rest. And this is due to things like Tesla being down considerably. So Tesla going down probably because Musk can't sell his 10% stock. Is that true? Is it? Let's have a quick look at the news. One of the best places that you can get the news is just jumping into FinBiz, clicking on the news. You can just Control F something and then just put in Tesla. If you've got any info, you probably want to spell Tesla correctly. And then it says here, investors brace possible Musk stock sale. So Tesla update 2. And you can look here if there's any new information about Tesla would be there usually. So this is a good little place to find any updates. It takes the Reuters feed, the Bloomberg feed, the Market Watch feed, all those types of ones. All right, back over to the NDX. So it does look a little bit weaker. Both of these signal to me further pullbacks are quite possible this week. And if we're thinking about where, again, it all comes to the daily 20. So daily 20 will be sitting right around that previous 15,700 as well. And this is a fairly decent pullback. I mean, think about it. It's basically about 3%. All right, let's keep scrolling through here. So Amazon is the only one that isn't going down. And guess what? Guess what, community? You guys get the big brains. What have we been saying about Amazon? What have you been saying about Amazon? Someone tell me. Can you use the QQQ? I'll put this to the chat. Do you guys prefer I use the QQQ or the NDX? The NDX is actually better. I mean, the QQQ is the same analysis, but the thing is, it's an ETF. I mean, ultimately, you're better off using the NDX because you get the better points. And if you trade futures, then you'll get the actual real levels as well. I mean, I understand that Americans love the QQQ, and I try to use both, but yeah, NDX technically is better. I mean, obviously, trading the QQQ is totally fine. Let's see what you guys think. Amazon seasonality up. That's right, guys. But bam, look at that. Another good day. Good close here. I mean, I don't think that Amazon is not... It can definitely come down with the market. So if the market keeps falling, don't expect Amazon to be like, ha, 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 I'm going to 4,000 without the rest of you. But seasonality dictates that this should be the strongest stock. This is a decent close here for it. And even if the market does come down, we still expect bounces off 34.70 off the previous trend line down, and then we kind of move up. That's the type of thing that we're really looking for here. So after gap close, Amazon needs to stay some range. Yeah, basically we just want to see, well, I mean, in terms of gap close, I'm not sure if you're going to get gap closes. Let's talk about where's your gap close that you're talking about, just this little one here. What are you talking about gap closing this? I guess you're talking about gap closing this. So there's the close that this person's mentioning here. Look, yeah, I just feel like if the Nasdaq continues to weaken, Amazon will float around. But when the Nasdaq comes back to the daily 20 or it comes back to the support that it finds, we should be able to see some further seasonal strength for this. And I expect this to go ballistic into Thanksgiving. This is what should happen. I mean, should, could, will. Will is not the word we're going to use. We're going to use should and could because we don't 100% know anything, of course. It's just educational guesses based on technical analysis and seasonals, but I like what we're seeing there. Let's quickly talk about this Tesla stock. So obviously Tesla really got belted here today, straight into 1,000. Look, I can't say it's unexpected for it to come down like this when you're in such a monstrous trend. And we did discuss this 2-hour 20. Obviously, Musk kind of ruined it with his I'm going to sell stuff. And it's gone through the 1,100 easy. It's gone to 1,000. I think 1,000 will be some buyers here. So each round number is going to become buyers. If you're talking about, oh, where is the best buy? Where is the best opportunity in this? It's not hard to know that the best opportunity is going to be around this 888 area. So this kind of 900 zone is going to be where a lot of people will look. 1,000, I think, is also not too bad for the longer term investor, just because, you know, you're getting a 20% discount on where it has been. And realistically, it's a big psychological number, but there isn't any technical there. I mean, what technical can you guys see? We've been pretty far away from the daily. We've gone underneath that. We've got the potential here for it to go back to the weekly 20 after the consolidation. And this is a fairly significant sell-off, 12.51%, not great. So, yeah, I think this is, unfortunately, the likelihood. But am I still bullish this stock? Yeah, I'm still bullish it. I think they basically keep hitting the targets that seem to be set. And this is what happens when Tesla gets a little bit away from itself. It's done it before. It's had these big whipsaw moments where it's then consolidated. And unfortunately, it looked like we were in consolidation mode after Musk did what he did. So, yeah. All right, let's do this one for Kevin. We're going to do Big C. And then we're going to go through some other stocks coming into the close. So Big C Commercial Holdings. All right. 4.48 billion, popped supposedly 38%. So let's just grab that and make sure I'm in the right one. Yep, that's about right, 38%. So number 2 to shop is Big C, according to what I've got here. If we're looking at the TA on where we believe this is at and where we believe it could go. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it's going somewhere like this. I hope I muted in time there, guys. Rapid fire. We'll do rapid fire in a minute. We'll go through a whole bunch of stocks. Don't worry. So, yeah, this is a very nice downward trend. Looks like today's or the weekly is going to close above this, which I think is significant. There's a couple of good things playing out here. And that is that we've got a nice support. We've got an engulf candle here on the weekly. Great. We've got above the daily 20. It doesn't seem to, weekly 20 doesn't seem to be a big thing. But think about this. It's a bigger term channel or huge double bottom. So really, if we place this closed weekly like this, you're thinking, okay, now we're talking $70, $71 here, Kevin. And $71 is pretty damn sweet. So we've got 71 bucks. Very nice. And then if we go to the daily and we do close above this, we've got a lot of trades that we can place after this to go to the long side. So let's think about taking the trend line, moving that out, extrapolating it, and it goes straight into this area around here. Let's just bring that down to where it should be. Yeah, so I really like this to around that $100, just underneath $100, 97. I think you've got multiple good take profit zones. You've got a great resistance that's coming up where if it does break through, should show lots of strength. And it looks like it's based. I mean, in many ways, the volumes are obviously there. You can see after the earnings, the volume has improved. It's had 2 more days of improved volume. It's been a little bit of buying throughout these kind of events. And depending on how good the fundamentals are, there could be a good opportunity here. So very nice. Cool. All right, we'll go over to IWM. IWM, obviously my pick in terms of the indices at this stage. I always love the Nasdaq the most, don't get me wrong. But sometimes there's a place to have other interests as well outside of the Nasdaq. And I think IWM, the Russell 2000, does present that. Seasonality is there right now. Rotation potentially going towards it as well. It's actually having a bit of a bounce back up. I would like this to come down actually here. Now, it would make sense to come down here if we're discussing the idea that after it comes back down to this zone, it then bounces back up. Also, when it comes back down to this zone, it's going to hit a daily 20. And at the same time, the S&P 500 and the NAS, so the NDX, they'll both be hitting the daily 20 as well. So just remember, this is still probably my pick for the strongest technical in terms of the indices right now and the rebounds and everything. And I think it's got the biggest kind of runway on it. I mean, when we started talking about it over here, the runway becomes 11%. The runway for the NASDAQ was a lot less. It's obviously outperformed the last couple of trading sessions. And you can even see today, a little bit of strength buying here into the close. The US 100, not so strong, 0.72 down. The US 500, 0.34, so not bad at all. But the Russell definitely doing better than the NASDAQ overall at this stage. Aiden Cocker, Australian $5. Hey, Tom, do you see an inverse head and shoulders on Crowd on the daily about to close above the neckline today? Let's have a quick look at Crowd. Crowd Strike, very popular stock. Breaking out here, 291 earnings. Oh, so really rolling into that earnings period. Now, we know Net did well. So Crowd's going for it at this stage. Now, inverse head and shoulders on the daily. I'm not sure if I really see that so much. But remember, the pattern is less important than the story that you've seen so far. I think people get caught up a little bit in patterns when they first begin. They think everything's a glorious cheat sheet kind of concept, which is fine. We have a cheat sheet. Click on the link. 3 free trading cheat sheets, guys. Link somewhere in YouTube. I'm not sure where it is. I think I'll put it in the chat. Hopefully I remember to pin it. Let me just have a look here. Was I stupid or was I smart? Let's have a look. I was smart. So yes, it is there if you want it. But yeah, I like this weekly close that's going to happen. The daily obviously closing out here above This is the first significant close. And let's think about the story so far. The story is resistance, rejection. So there's the rejection. It's come down, it's retested, and it's going for the closure. What do we expect? There's a good chance that crowd will buy into the earnings. Why will it buy into the earnings? Again, we go and look at net. So we go and look at net, look at the competitors, look at the story of the competitors. So Cloudflare went ballistic into earnings. I mean, absolutely ballistic. Basically put 100% on the stock and went from, just crazy amounts of 100%. It also held up, which is amazing. I mean, that's phenomenal that it held up. Very rare that a stock will come in here and hold up. Usually it's a buy the rumor and get demolished in the fact, like back down to like a 150, 160. I'm surprised. I love Cloudflare, but I'm surprised it held. Not usual, okay? Not usual. Even I scaled off. Of course, you want to do that because it's insane. Too much gain equals a little bit of pain. I still think we could have a bit of a pullback here at net later on. But yes, Cloudflare and in this case, CrowdStrike is actually looking pretty good for the breakout. And that breakout, if we go back to Crowd after today, is pointing towards, the real potential of possibly even going this distance. So you might be actually looking at some significant gains here in a 300 plus breakout before the earnings. Remember, earnings here, 23 days away. There's a chance this thing's at the 330, 340 plus before that even happens. Significant. Thanks very much for the super chat. Not too bad. Roblox has gone ballistic. Yeah, we saw that yesterday when after the earnings result, it went ballistic. And here we go. So today it comes back 94.86 and goes to 108.93. Geez, that must be a good earnings report. I mean, up from the bottom here. And the market obviously didn't expect it from a price action standpoint. Super surprised. 42%. Wow. Congrats if you're in those ones. Let's just quickly go over where we're at here with earnings beat data so far. So it is dropping by the day, 71% now on the beats to misses, 1211 to 492. Ooh. And then we've got the most anticipated earnings. So we've got NIO coming in at the close. We've got Coinbase, we've got Unity, DoorDash, some popular ones there. Plug Power, a few of you guys like these coming into the earnings. So let's have a quick look. Let's do some rapid fire coming into the close here. We've got 9 minutes till the close. Anyone that's joining us, thank you very much to the 579 people so far. If you can, smash that like button. It does help us out quite a lot. So if you want to smash the like button, that would be very, very nice. Also, wow, PayPal got ballistic. So I haven't, wow. Ooh. Damn. What happened to Square from that? Square's down 2.72 as well. Oh my goodness, look at this. 200 flat. That is nasty. So that's now down to 239 billion. Joe C said, I've got pawned on my PayPal today. Would love to know your thoughts. Yeah, my thoughts generally are like, I know I like this level at the base. I never invest full at these points. Or trade full. I always scale. So let's say like a third position. I usually tend to wait for bases to form and then I get involved in the base. And that's why, partially, because of what this is. I don't know why it's down so much. I must admit, I haven't fully read the report. I know the earnings were kind of like mediocrity. Anyone got the scoop on why exactly it's down so much from a fundamental level? I mean, obviously it's fundamental. PK Subban says, I scaled into PayPal. Fair enough. It is a falling knife. It looks like a falling knife at this stage. That's a big amount of volume. I mean, your problem is, where's your technical? I mean, is your technical around 200? Great psychological. But you've also got this 180 now that becomes open. It's very disappointing by this stock. Very disappointing. Revenue miss is the only thing. Oh, GOG2 says Musk. Yeah, I don't know what I can say really about it. It's in the middle of nowhere land. 200 is certainly a psychological. Every 20 bucks is big. breaking underneath this. I mean, it didn't even, you saw what it was doing with the initial result. So obviously the fundamentals completely shifted. It went up, hit the daily 20 moving average, and then by the next day it's opened. It's opening down here. So the algorithms initially got it wrong. So it's down because some of the analysts are skeptical of the claims made. Outlook revised down, as Simon said. Okay. Oh, well. Look, I mean, we're in the middle of this area. If you're stuck in it, unfortunately, like you're hoping 200 holds, but there's no technical yet. I mean, 200 is just more of a psychological zone that people will buy. 180 is the big support. And what you have to do here is you have to be a bit patient. You've got to wait for lightning bolts. You've got to wait for downtrend changes. If you're going to trade it, if you're investing, then obviously you scale in at portions that you like. It's a bit different. People asking about Beam. Nothing really changes on my Beam analysis. I liked yesterday's close. The market being down today doesn't help Beam. I still like it around this price. So, yeah, still looks fine to me. ArcG Genomics will also be down because of this. So that's a big one. Really, the only stock that's kind of up here is Amazon. Roku, another one that's broken down below again. So that's, I mean, these hyper stocks, all these ones that did very well during the pandemic, suddenly not doing so well. Still like TDOC, that's at support coming into the close. However, of course, if the market continues to fall, TDOC could be in a little bit of trouble here. NVIDIA only down 0.55%. This surprises me. I thought this would be getting belted a lot more from a perspective. So let's just quickly go through some stocks here into the close. Let's do them all. So we'll go with Square first. Square looks inevitable. This thing's going to try to come back down. PayPal, whatever's going on there, exactly does not work well for this company either. And I think the problem with Square is that they've purchased too much. Too much cost in Square. So look for the 220 kind of area and then 200 after that if we continue to see a decline in this area. Apple still hovering around that 150, actually holding up the NAS at this stage in many ways. 150 bounce, 151 at this stage. Still some weakness after the div. I really don't change my maintained kind of 165 for this by the end of the year. That's what I want to see. Could see it come down 145 during this little bit of a pullback, or maybe even a glorious trend line. Seems unlikely. More likely this, or even just hover and then bounce. So, yep, Apple looks fine. Let's take a look at Google. Google's on the top end range. Nothing spectacular about Google, so we'll move on. Enphase, this has been a big popular one for us for a little while. I would expect that this pulls back to the 220 range during this pullback. So I don't like the price at the moment for this. But if you're in it, there's no reason to be super scared. Microsoft continues to find too much strength. I mean, what is it doing? Who the hell knows? It's up there in the middle of nowhere land. You just have to follow it on a smaller movement average. If you like ARK, this is going to be a big zone for it, 125. Pretty susceptible, of course, to Tesla price, as we see today. But if it does get through this area here, fairly large breakout at the 125.60. So we'll watch that. ArcG, no real point in looking at this too much at the moment. Kind of on a support to a degree. Beam, we saw it break out. It's kind of hovering there. Edit is very similar. A bit of a rejection here today. Not fantastic after a day of breakout. So here's our breakout day. It goes back up, rejects 42 straight away. This is probably, as we said, it's a marginal scale job. So really what you're looking for here is if you've had an entry here, you're waiting for it to break above 42 to give you further clarification. Let's move through. CRISPR, another one of these kind of stocks. It is showing the weakness. The old boomer stock that we always watch here, SPLK, continues to find strength. I've changed nothing about my outlook here. My outlook has been for multiple months that I'm looking for the inverse head and shoulders to complete. Here it is. And I want this thing to go to $190. And until it's at $190, I don't care. But SPLK has been pretty resilient, really. It's done fairly well. CRM's another one of my favorites, and the older kind of stocks. This has done very, very well. And I maintain that it's exactly what it is, which is slow and steady wins the race. That's the type of one. So it still looks quite strong. TDOC, we talked about it. Baba. I don't like anything about Baba until it gets past 180. JD, I don't even know what to say about this. Stuck in the middle of nowhere land. Horrible looking weeklies. Yeah, JD's not really got much on it. Twilio, let's go down to the daily. Got some problems around here, but this is a decent pullback. With it shows there is some strength here. Volume's well out of this stock. So you're kind of looking for this and then break through. So 315, 320 area. We know its previous supports become resistance. This area, very key and pivotal for Twilio. So certainly something we'll be looking at. And we're almost on the close. Let's keep going here. Pins. I think we can almost remove pins at this stage. We can't look for a pullback on that yet. Etsy. It's been doing well seasonally. Makes sense. Consumer discretionary is doing well. DKNG is on heavy support. We'll see how it bounces around there in the future. Airbnb, big rally, trying to fill the gap now. Congrats, anyone that was in this and flicked it at 210. Well done to you. Intel coming back up to the previous support, acts as resistance. So certainly an area of interest there. Spot coming back down. I don't know how I feel about Spot. I feel like there's great support here at 260. If we get a big pullback, 260 could be a zone that you really want to look at closely. Netflix, went underneath our bounces. So daily 20 was a good bounce level. Long leg doji, decision made, full bull up. And went over what my expectation was. At this stage, I'd say Netflix's biggish run is over. NVAX in the middle of gap land. PLTR, disappointment obviously on the earnings. Seems like this thing can never do anything right for investors in earnings. Some people like it down this zone, think that's a buy area. Look, I'm not a fan. I don't understand how it keeps doing this. It just keeps stuffing over the retail herd that's in it. I mean, this has just been a disappointment after disappointment after disappointment for people being in it. I mean, it might look like it's got lots of gains and everything. It's Chop City. I don't know what to say. What does the community say about PLTR? I don't know what to say about that thing. Palladian played $5 TLT, please. All right, we'll do that one. So we'll do the 20-year bonds. Yes, certainly a massive spike up here in bonds, and it'll be in today's video. Probably neglected this for a few too many days. I mean, we've got the bonds moving straight back up into resistance. And what do we know about bonds? If bonds are moving up, it's an early warning sign that the market is going to find some weakness. Remember, the market didn't weaken. The bonds have just been moving up. And it goes along with our general thought process right now. We've got high greed. We have high resistances in the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. We have TLT bonds moving up here. After breaking through that resistance, they get to this point. Now, if they get through this point, I think that's fairly significant. The next area for the bonds could be, 155 is going to be an issue for it. So I'd say it's 155. There it is there. But this is a very significant resistance hit here for the 20 years. Certainly a very, very significant. Look at this. Look at Trip. That's why you have to wait for earnings. My goodness, look at that. Oh, nasty, nasty. Even J&J has been pretty slow. Deers seems to be getting through the deer in the headlights. Obviously, their trade bargaining agreement's a bit of a problem. So let's move over to the actual earnings results. We saw again, I just want to quickly highlight why you stay the hell away from earnings with these squeeze stocks. I had a rant about it yesterday, and I want to rant about it again right now. Please, guys, remember they are squeeze related. Earnings results are never good for them. Unless you can prove to me that earnings results are good for them, which I don't believe they ever have been, just be careful. Matthew Harris says PLTR is a retail bait. The software sounds amazing, but is anyone investing a software engineer that understands whether or not it's good? I think also the value is a hard thing here. Ajane says, all my savings are in TLT and analogs. Okay. Can you check price analysis on Tesla? Yeah, I did Tesla. I will do it again. Monica Nakamura says, rant, Tom looking out for the apes. I just don't want people to think that these earnings results are good. I mean, it's a very massive retail trap to people that are just beginning. Like, I don't know how you could ever think they're good. They never have been good. They're always bad. It's not good. It's bad. Yeah, we don't want those types of things. Doesn't mean you can't trade it, but just warn yourself that is not the ideal area to be in. So let's quickly bring up these. We'll do Dash. And what's the other one you guys want? You guys pick from this list. Which other one do you want us to watch? So here they are. We've got Upstart, Fubo, Plug, Unity. Which one do you want? If Tesla hits 800, which I doubt, I'm putting all my money there, says Michael Cox. All right. UPST, Unity, UPST. Unity, Plug. Oh my goodness. You guys really like a few of these. DoorDash. Okay, so more plugs and unities. Okay, there we go. Plug. I thought Dash would have been more popular. Is NIO even popular? Does anyone even care about NIO anymore? I got coin up. I guess I'll have to go to even more. Let's see. How many can I put on a screen? There we are. Coin down 325, down 9.34%. Too much gain in the last couple of days to hold it. No, that's the problem. You know, you got to remember it came in with a hype over here. Then it dumped itself. And we've got to remember at this point, yes, we had Bitcoin around what, 60,000, 65,000, but then it dumped down. It was never worth this price. So I think what's happened here is you've got too much hype coming in from maybe the retail crowd buying into it and people buying thinking, oh, surely because the coin market's done so well, it's going to go up. It's kind of overrun itself. A very clear case of buy the rumor, sell the fact. Well done if you bought the rumor and sold the fact, though. 319 here on that one. Let's just quickly bring up ADA down the bottom. It's at the key pivotal resistance as well. So just remember, we've been looking at ADA. I think it actually started firing up there a little bit in the last 24 hours. And I'm sure a few of you guys were watching it. Unity down 3.25% after hours. So we've got earnings coming out for that. 164 post. Dash 190 at this stage. Plug 39.27. NIO 40.64. I assume that result is not out. Coinbase's result clearly out. 320 in the post. ADA about time. Yeah. ADA waiting or just a fake breakout? I think that for some people, they would have already started to see the positive signs. I mean, there is some bases that we've been talking about here, had that little resistance, closed above this resistance. That's probably for some people a scale-in zone. It's showing signs of life. Definitely showing signs of life there. And if we go to a daily, you'll see what I mean. This is still a very pivotal point. I'll talk about in the video today. 230 here for ADA, right into the resistance, and then it closed off. Only coin really up in my 4 coins that I seem to watch. See you, Joe. Rip Plug. Plug down 4.1%. So let's just have a quick look at the Plug technicals on the weekly here. Not a great week for it in the previous week. Great retail base. Obviously, we saw that run. Going to be hard to keep the the foot on the pedal. Remember, when you have a run from $25-ish to $40-ish, you're asking a lot from the earnings. It's kind of like that net scenario. I didn't expect net to hold up. I probably wouldn't expect this to hold up. I probably wouldn't expect this to hold up. They need very, very good earnings to really get it done. Unity's the biggest rip here, 11.55% down. Big rally. It's actually right back into support. 151, previous resistance. Let's quickly go to a daily here on Unity, put it in perspective. Hits a new all-time peak, goes to a resistance. Result, obviously not finding that. Last 2 days, heavy hype on this stock. Again, buy the rumor, sell the fact kind of. This is what you've got to think about. Has it probably met expectations? I would say yes, it has. It might even be a beat. But this market price was getting insane for the reality of the situation. And I think a technical analysis or analyst should be able to do that. And you've got to always think scaling, scaling, scaling. UPST down quite a lot. UPST, you guys wanted that. Upstart. Another one that's rallied relatively hard in recent weeks. This is very new, more retail kind of orientated stock. Where are we now? 268. So almost at the weekly 20. I would expect that to be a zone that people are looking at. But again, yes, it's unfortunate. People probably can't quite understand how it happens. I think you always need to consider the left-hand side. And what's this left-hand side showing us? We've gone up 300 to 400%. 300 to 400% since the last earnings. How good does this earnings have to be? Very, 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 very good is the answer. Very, 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 very good. Cool, Daniel. Good luck, sir. I think you need to be careful, obviously, whenever you're doing that type of stuff. I think you need to be very careful. So always think about what you're going to do. Have your plan and make sure you don't take insane risks. I can't tell you what to do, though. Obviously, you make your own decisions. NIO trading about 40.82 in the post. Will Disney hold the earnings in this market mood? Disney doesn't really have as much impact as it used to. There's a lot of stocks bigger than it now. It used to be used to be a really big behemoth stock. It's still big, but there's a lot more bigger stocks now. So pretty disappointing in terms of most of the earnings here. We've got kind of a miss to a degree. Probably still hit, but missed by the current price action. We're missed by the current price action. And then UPST missed by the current price action. Plug, not too bad. Actually held pretty well, I think, if that earnings is out. NIO, I'm not even sure if the earnings is out on that one yet. And then Dash, post 190. So how's our indices looking? So really recap here. We've got the indices 0.35% down on the S&P. We'll recap that soon. Nasdaq, the weakest, 0.75. Probably one of our bigger convictions recently. Amazon, 2.5% up. Very strong. Did we talk about Amazon yet? Double bottom seems to be in play. Yeah, a lot of people are calling a lot of patterns. I think the patterns are less important and the story is better. I mean, there seems to be all sorts of... I don't know how everyone's getting different patterns. So I guess people are calling this the double bottom. Sure. I mean, you could say that, I guess. The better thing to do is just to think about the storyline and to focus. The patterns are good, but patterns will only take you so far. I mean, some people will then say, oh, well, this is a double bottom. We're going up. For me, it's more the story so far. The story has been broken downward trend, lightning bolted. The first sign was over here on the daily. Then we get rid of the hideous earnings period. And this is, again, a story, a cautionary tale on why earnings are so stupid sometimes for a trader, because it comes down and it bounces up. And then all of a sudden we're way higher than where it was. And you could go back and say, but they missed earnings. How can it be higher? Come on, guys. Have you not been around the market for a while? It always happens like this. This is how it is. If the left-hand side is like ballistic and it beats earnings, it'll still mostly come down. If the left-hand side is hideous, like it is here on Amazon for about 1 year, remember that 1 year of hideousness. Got to put that in perspective over here. 16th of July, we were trading at 3,339. Then even a miss coming into an earnings seasonal is still good, as long as the miss is not epically bad. The guidance is the problem. But what's the market going to do? Chat, tell me. What's the market going to do? Yikes, SoFi. Isn't SoFi a day away? SoFi after the close Wednesday. I'd be scared of SoFi. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Everyone loves this thing a lot. So let's have a look how it find out. Listen to the guidance? Hell no, it's not going to listen to the guidance, Simon. What happens is after the guidance comes out, the market goes, no. We're a bit more optimistic than you are, Mr. Amazon. We think you've done bad things. And we're going to go bullish on the price action based on the fact that we believe that you're going to beat guidance based on metrics that we're seeing. So the market is always optimistic. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, the earnings whispers is all I'm going off there. So some big stories today. Tesla down to 1,000, cracks lower because of course, Elon's sale and who knows, just negative sentiment, profit taking from the retail crowd, etc. Looks like those puts are printing this week quite a lot. That's pushed around the Nasdaq a fair bit and really got that one, coming down 0.74%. Where does this stop? Could be 1,000. Could be all the way back down to 900 as well. So you've got to think about where's the weekly 20. The weekly 20 is sitting underneath 900 at this stage. Am I bearish this stock? No. Do I think that this is what often happens after a huge ramp? We talked about it a few times. We've had huge ramps before, and we've had big sell-offs before in Tesla. And while it's consolidated for a period of time, in general, it's gone bullish again. So this could be an opportunity in the future for people to pick up what they believe they missed out on. And remember, this is why we said no FOMO. No FOMO, no FOMO, because you're going to get a pullback. Even if it wasn't Musk related, there's always going to be one on these types of big aggressive moves, especially when you're talking about $1.2 trillion. Markets all hitting resistances. I'll make a video about them soon. As people rightfully pointing out, TLT, the 20-year bond treasuries coming up to a key resistance. Breakout of here, really showing weakness in the market overall. Silver and gold continue to be interesting positions to trade. I mean, gold literally hitting my resistance here today. Look at this. Bam, straight into resistance for gold. The seasonals come a little bit early here. We're in the middle of November almost, and gold is pushing to get through this area. And this is pivotal. Like, this is a super level for it. I kind of hope it does this and then bounces through, but we'll find out. Gold, very, 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 very strong at this stage. Let's see if it breaks through the key zone. Fourth touch, actually fifth touch, really. VIX improves. So have you been trading the VIX? Definitely an improvement there today. A little bit of volatility increase. And I think with the cryptos and stuff, there's been some improvements across ADA. Some of the crypto coins have been coming in. Here's NIO 4064 in the post, 4068 in the post, sorry. Just having a look through a few of these ones that people were messaging me with over the last week. We'll get rid of Fastly again. We don't need that. BMY, okay, still a nice breakout from the bottom. Steel hit the resistance, floating around. Trip, incredibly disappointing base here. Dump that now. Not much point in looking at it. Hyatt, Seasonal still in play. Boeing's an interesting one. Boeing showed its first strength 2 days ago. It's been super disappointing stock. Let's go to the weekly. It's getting so close. This is going to come up here because we need to look at that a bit more. Snap. Have we seen base on this yet? Okay, better. 4 hour. Improvement. We'll check it out soon. AMC and GME, obviously news related. Fubo into earnings at resistance. So we'll see how that ends up breaking out. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll do a couple here. We do Mark Wilkins. We've got QS, QuantumScape Corporation. Very nice breakout if you were in this one. Mark, very, very nice. Earnings quite far away because it's already had it, which is great. Earnings was a miss, it looks like, too. And look at the stock afterwards. Fantastic breakout, sir. Now, what's your expectation for it? That's the problem. Do we go 45? Do we go higher? Oh, man. $40. It's very fast. Guess $40. Problem is, it's done a lot of it. MU. Micron. Yep, nice. This is obviously the kind of like the worst stock in the in the semiconductor space at the moment, but it's also the deepest value. So you've got here the downward trend line. I think we analyzed this. It's a bit of a breakout for the first recovery. We're at resistance, so resistance becomes support, and we get through here, and then bam, we're really looking at some recovery. And there is a good storyline here. For anyone's doing our mentoring class, they'll know what I'm talking about from the storyline perspective. But in general, you're at a resistance, you break through, and then you can continue your strength up. Next stop would be 84, is my belief from a technical level. Not bad. And it's certainly getting there. First signs of recovery, fantastic. Second signs will be getting through here, and I would say it will pull back to that and then go long. All right, everyone, have a great day. Remember to subscribe if you enjoy the content. We'll see you in the daily video and catch you soon. Bye for now. Tom, what about Zoom? ZM is ZM. It's doing nothing ahead of earnings. We've got earnings in 13 days. You know, I've talked about this stock many times, and I said that I don't believe it has any moat. I think the stock is completely overhyped. I've always believed this. I've never liked this stock. Didn't like it over here. Didn't like it over here. Didn't like it even here. So maybe I missed some opportunity. But I look, we've placed some day trades on it. I have no idea what's doing into earnings. Earnings 13 days away. Good luck. But I don't think this thing has any moat personally. I didn't even use it. I haven't used Zoom in months. I use Teams or something else. Catch you guys.